Back. It's starting to get a bit windy and chillier, so I'll be moving inside shortly, I think. So thank you for reflecting on your values and what you are beginning to construct as your identity as a physical educator grows. So blank, if you did your reading, blank can be described as the motivation, confidence, knowledge, and understanding to value and take responsibility for engagement of physical activities for life. So this is physical literacy. So now we're moving into physical literacy. Almost buzzword, important buzzword that's been thrown around a lot lately, but we need to dive into it a bit more. So mostly on page 34 to 40 in chapter 3, and here's why we care about it. So what it does is it really connects the holistic approach that we want to take to physical education, the whole child, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and it connects all of the child's learning to movement and to motor competence. So when we think about, let's start with the obvious, the physical domain, that would be your movement competence. So learning those fundamental movement skills, putting those skills together, and as students learn those skills, as they become more competent, then they grow in their confidence. So now we're talking emotional domain. And it doesn't even have to be true competence, it can be perceived competence. So as they grow in their competence, their confidence, mental, improves, giving them the motivation to be active for life. So now that motivation is kind of that affective domain, that again, that heart domain, thinking about how they're feeling and how it makes them feel to be better at something. Ooh, sorry, super chilly. All right, so we care about physical literacy because it supports a holistic view to physical education. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take physical literacy components and we're going to take theory components on motor learning and whatnot, and we're going to start to put those things together. Now, if you didn't take a break after writing your values, now is the time for you to get up, go for a walk, stretch, do something else other than just be online with our course. So please make sure you work in natural break times, snacks, movement, that kind of thing. All right, so physical education and you. So this is where we're going to start to put things together for you as a practitioner. And your past matters. Your story matters. Our stories matter, and all of those past experiences will affect how you teach phys ed and how you view phys ed and how you value phys ed from just before. So your past experiences are important because if they were miseducative, if they were a bad experience making you want to never ever touch phys ed again, that's going to be there simmering in your mind and in your body and in your muscle memory, and that will come through in your teaching. If your past experiences with phys ed were phenomenal and you loved every second of it, that's going to come through in your teaching and in your body and in your muscle memory. And so it's important that you recognize how your past experiences can impact your teaching and understanding of PE. Then it's also equally important to remember that all of our students come with past experiences. The whole child that comes to you also will have had previous movement experiences, even in kindergarten. Things like if their families held them way more than let them explore and move, that past experience with lack of movement, not that it's good or bad, I'm not judging that, I'm not talking about judging parenting, but all I'm saying is their movement competencies, even just in kindergarten, might be different to a family who doesn't hold their children as much, or who maybe leaves them for lots of tummy time on the floor when they were younger, and then also encourages them to explore freely their environment. So already they're moving a little bit more. So it's important to recognize our experiences and think about our children's experiences. So what I want you to do now, we're getting into the autobiographical narrative assignment a little bit here. So you're going to have time to work on that today too and think about it. So on your own, I just want you to think of the first movement experience that you can remember from elementary school or from your childhood. comes to mind and then jot some notes down. So I just want you to think about a past experience you've had with movement. So I'll share one with you that I have, very vivid. So this is actually a high school memory for me, and yours can be any time in your childhood. So I had a teacher who didn't make movement very inviting for me. So I was new to that school. I was new to their district when I changed over there in grade 10. And so in my first phys ed class, it was very obvious, all the students who knew each other and those who didn't know each other and those who fit already and those who didn't fit in already. And this teacher did nothing to mix up those groups, did nothing to encourage a collaborative aspect. We just immediately got into some cross-country running and some volleyball because that's the seasons we were in, sport seasons that we were in at the time, and we were timed right away. So my very first high school experience was pretty negative. I didn't feel welcomed. I didn't feel like I belonged in that class. It felt like the volleyball team was already picked. Same thing with cross-country. I couldn't run a 10-minute mile within the first 2 weeks of high school, and so I was not a valued member of that class. So that's one of my experiences. I'd like you to share your experiences. I think I've set up a thing on eClass, if I did it successfully. Let me know if I didn't, where you can start to share your experiences. So experience and education cannot be directly equated to each other. For some, experiences are miseducative. So these are the ones that that we want to know more of, that type of thing again. So any experience is miseducative that has the effect of arresting, so stopping or distorting the growth of further experience. So miseducative physical education experience would potentially have kids not want any more of that ever again. An educative physical education experience would be one where students want more movement, they want more phys ed, they want to come to the gymnasium, they want to go outside with you and play. So I want you to, in your groups or on the class, discuss educative and miseducative aspects of your story. So you thought about your story, and now I want you to think about what was educative, what was good about it, what was miseducative, and how can those experiences lead to quality phys ed? How can your past experiences move you forward in your teaching? And so this is what's going to become the foundation, the beginnings of your autobiographical assignment, your PE narratives. And so with that assignment, what's going to happen is you're going to write a story. First, start with a story. And you're just going to write down the story, and you want to think with narrative inquiry or narrative autobiography. You want to think about time, you want to think about place, and you want to think about the social aspect of your snippet. So it's like a one-page snippet. It can be longer, it can be shorter. You'll see Doug has an example in the textbook. You're going to write a one-page story from your point of view of an experience with movement. That's just the storytelling part. The second part of the assignment is pulling that apart, looking at all the connections between that miseducative or educative experience and now how you're developing as a human being and how you're developing as a teacher. So how does that one story, if you look at it from a sense of time, forwards, backwards, inward, outward, a sense of place, where were you? Did you feel safe in that place? Do you still feel safe in that place? Did you feel unsafe and never want to go to that place again? What does that mean for teaching? If it was in the gymnasium and if it was a miseducative experience, what does that mean for you as your comfort level potentially is going to increase or decrease as a teacher? And then socially, think about it. Think about culture. Think about competition. Think about what that was like for you in terms of your values, your beliefs, your community. So that's kind of the pieces of the narrative assignment. So that takes care of the first 3 videos. This is our reflection journal. Again, thinking MPE. I've tried to allow for social interaction on the e-class as much as possible. I have tried to make this personally relevant for you guys for your teaching practice. So take some time to reflect on this first chunk, 3 bits, of your learning in your reflection journal. So you can either go with like the head, heart, hands, spirit reflection, or you can go with a skill. So for skills, maybe look back at our learning outcome goals. Something you learned, something that you can use in your teaching or outside of our EDL 321 class, a question you still have, and something that maybe was meaningful to you. And that is the end of that. Okay, chat soon.